Ugh, it hurts. I can't take it anymore.
My husband John fainted after moaning during a meal at my in-laws' house. My mother-in-law Kathleen was shocked and screamed. I said coldly to impatient Kathleen,
"Well, I'm going home."
"What nonsense. Kathleen still thinks she can use me as John's wife." I decided to confront them with the facts and let them know that they could no longer have it their way. My name is Wendy. I am a 28-year-old office worker. I live with my husband John, whom I married last year. John is 30 years old and a lawyer, and his family has been a family of lawyers, doctors, and other highly educated professionals for generations, so everyone thought I was lucky to marry him. On the contrary, John's salary is not that high, same as an office worker. Still, I considered myself lucky to be married to John with a solid career. We didn't spend much time together during our marriage due to each other's busy schedules, but I had taught myself to accept that this is what a working couple is supposed to be like. However, John began to complain and sarcastically complain about how different his married life was from what he had imagined. Because of his job, his comments are all logical, but to me, they are all self-centered and unreasonable.
Hey, where's my breakfast?
I asked you last night what you wanted for breakfast, didn't I? It's not done yet, because you just decided what you want. Totally useless. Get on with it. Oh, look at the clock. It's time for me to go to work.
So what? It's not on point. Because you're disorganized, that's why this happened.
It's not my fault for the way I do it. Because you were slow in making decisions about the breakfast menu.
You're just full of crap.
Before we were married, my husband said he would help me with the housework and wanted me to focus on my work. But he never helped me and changed his attitude to the point where he took it for granted that I would take care of him. But he never helped me, and his attitude was to the point where he took it for granted that I would take care of him.
My mother, Catherine, did everything right around the house, but you were lazy and not doing proper work.
I'm doing a good job at home, too. I think what you are trying to say is you expect me to look after you. You promised before we got married that since we both work, you would help out at home, too.
Damn it. Enough.
After a day of communicating with John like this, I would always get a call from Kathleen.
John said that? But John has a problem with that, too. Excuse me, can I go now? I'm in the middle of my work.
I sighed. I was never good at my in-laws' family. My father-in-law, Bob, is an experienced lawyer, and my mother-in-law, Kathleen, is a housewife who grew up in a wealthy family. Kathleen, in particular, apparently spoiled my husband as much as she could, calling him Baby John and so on. On the other hand, Bob is strict with his son, and John seems to be afraid of Bob. Bob is an experienced lawyer, and he often goes on business trips to distant courthouses. Kathleen often asks John to come over when Bob is out of town.
Yeah, I'll be right there.
Before the marriage, as expected, John refrained from spoiling Kathleen, but after the marriage, his motherhood gradually leaked out. It is especially bad when we eat at my in-laws' house. First, she lays out a sumptuous meal on the table, and the first person to hold the knife and fork is always John. Whenever I start to try to eat, Kathleen always says something like, "Hey, can you wait until John is finished eating? You can pick and choose from what's left."
Nods in approval to Kathleen, who says that I should eat leftovers.
As I begin to eat, Kathleen continues to lecture me endlessly about how to be a good wife. As I began to eat, Kathleen continued to lecture me endlessly about how to be a good wife and how to take care of a husband. Thanks to this, it was a sumptuous meal, but I could not taste it at all. Besides, I'm not allowed to relax at my in-laws' house after dinner. She asked me to go and buy something right away while John relaxes over a beer. I was exhausted from running all of Catherine's errands. I was uncomfortable at my in-laws' house like that, but since I had to work on holidays and did not go there often, I dismissed it as a temporary selfishness. Recently, however, there was a change in John's behavior. Even on weekdays, he stopped by his parents' house on his way home from work, and on weekends he said he would stay at his parents' house. He rarely spent time at home. I was suspicious, but when I called my in-laws' house, John was probably there, so he didn't seem to be doing anything particularly suspicious. When I tried to go to my in-laws' house with John on holidays, Kathleen, who used me the wrong way so much, told me to take it easy and rest, at least on holidays, as I was busy with work. I wondered why she's in a good mood and said that to me, but I was grateful for Kathleen's offer, as I don't feel like going to my in-laws' house. Eventually, only John stayed at my in-laws' house more frequently. Our house and my in-laws' house are about an hour's drive away, so John and I used to go to his parents' house using the car we shared as a couple. I commute by bus, so I only use my car for shopping. John also commuted by train, so the only time he used the car was when he went to his parents' house. One day I was driving to the store and noticed long hair on the passenger seat. I have short hair and I don't remember having anyone else in my car. I suspected my husband of cheating on me, but wondered when he would have time for that. These days, John spends most of his time outside of work at his parents' house. He didn't seem to be having a night out or have time to cheat on me. I probed my husband.
Hey, you've been going to your parents' house a lot lately. What are you doing?
Huh? What? Why are you asking that?
Because you're going to be staying overnight a lot. I just wondered what you do for such a long time.
Nothing special. I'm just relaxing and studying. Yeah, I spend lots of time in my room like reading legal books.
I see. You're such a good lawyer, aren't you? You are so efficient and work hard.
Well, sort of.
John's attitude was a bit unnatural. Come to think of it, John complains less about me these days, and Kathleen has not called to complain. It was a good thing for me, but I felt it was suspicious that it went back. I decided to take the plunge and hire a detective agency to investigate John's infidelity. I was immediately informed of the results of the investigation, but could not confirm whether or not John was having an affair. Only that he was spending time at his parents' house with a young woman with long hair.
Your husband always meets up with this woman on his way to his parents' house and puts her in his car. I didn't see any signs of cheating in the car, but you found out that he was seeing a woman, didn't you? The place where they meet is his parents' house. It's hard for us to investigate any further.
It would have seemed out of the ordinary that he would be meeting with an unfaithful partner in his own parents' home, but I felt that John and Kathleen would do it, so I went through with my plan. I lied to John that I will be on a business trip for the holidays.
Well, I'm going to go to my parents' house alone.
Oh, sure. Please say hi to Catherine for me.
After seeing John off in the car, I took a cab to his parents' house too. Since I arrived earlier, I quietly went around to the back of his parents' house to watch. Soon I saw a car with John and a woman entering to his parents' house. Catherine greets them at the door with a big smile on her face.
Well, well, well. Welcome. Well, you two always look so good together.
Oh no, Mom. I'm so embarrassed.
Oh, John, you're so shy. Come on in, come on in.
After they had this kind of conversation, they entered the house. Then I opened the door to John's car. I had a spare key to the car. I took the key of my in-laws' house kitchen from the car. It's the key I use when Catherine asks me to go and buy something from the shop. When I quietly entered the house through the kitchen door, there was no one in the kitchen, and I heard noises coming from the shower room. Gently peeking into the dressing room, I see young woman's clothes and underwear. After all, that woman was definitely John's unfaithful partner. Normally, most of the people never take a shower in a stranger's house. John has been having an affair at his own parents' house. And Catherine supports it as well. I felt more contempt for them than anger. In the meanwhile, I put her clothes and underwear in the washing machine and turned on the switch to keep this woman from escaping. Perhaps she noticed the noise. A voice came from the shower room.
John, you can't wait any longer, can you? You're a bad person for having a wife.
Apparently this woman knows that John is married. If she knew about it and had a relationship with him, she seems like a pretty vicious woman.
Who are you? I'm John's wife.
I heard the woman gasp. Since she is supposed to be stuck in the shower room bare-arsed for the time being, I left there and headed straight to the second floor where John's room was located. I was so angry that I slammed the door to his room roughly and yelled at him, "John, I know you are in there. I'm gonna open it."
When I opened the door, the room was empty. The window was left open and I looked down and saw a man staggering away. Apparently, the panicked John had jumped out from the window.
He's holding his arm as if he is injured somewhere. I mumbled.
He got away. Oh well, I guess he'll have to come back anyway.
When I returned downstairs and went to the living room, Catherine was surprised to see me.
What? You? You came?
Yes, just now. I contacted John, but haven't you heard? I blurted it out.
Catherine looks upset, and she is constantly concerned about the shower room across the kitchen. Of course, because there is a cheating woman there. The table is lined with sumptuous food. It is an amazing feast. Thank you so much for doing this for me.
What? Sort of.
I called John, but he wasn't there. Can I eat first?
Of course. Please go ahead. Oh, let's call John, shall we? I wonder where he is. Kathleen panicked and began calling John on the phone. Hi, sweetheart. Where are you? Hey, come quick. Huh? It's okay. She doesn't seem to notice.
I ate as much of my in-laws' food as I could because usually I could only eat leftovers. Then John appeared with a nonchalant look on his face.
Oh, you came.
Yeah, I got off work early. I called you. I never really contacted him, but I lied.
John is pale and shielding his right shoulder. I pretended not to notice, but perhaps he had injured himself somewhere when he jumped down from the second floor.
Hey, it's so good. Why don't you eat it?
Oh no, us.
I showed John, who was getting sicker and sicker, that I was eating a succession of fine dishes right in front of his eyes. Catherine is not aware of John's condition, perhaps because she is concerned about the shower room. The woman with whom John is having an affair is apparently in the shower room, hiding her breath.
Oh, it hurts. I can't take it anymore.
John moaned like that, then he fainted. Finally, Catherine noticed John's abnormality and screamed.
Oh no, John.
Oh dear, you were hurt after all. Your arm is bent abnormally, isn't it?
Call 911 right now.
I said coldly to my impatient Catherine,
Why don't you ask the woman in the shower room to call it for him?
What? How did you...
Well, I'm going home.
What are you talking about? Even though you're his wife?
You know what? Please don't treat me like his wife anymore. I already know everything about what you guys are doing.
Then I took out the voice recorder from my pocket. Then I pressed the play button, and the woman in the shower said,
John, you can't wait any longer, can you? You're a bad person for having a wife.
And then a sweet voice drifted in.
Catherine turned bright red and slumped over and called 911 by herself. Eventually, the sirens of an ambulance approached.
When the paramedics arrived, John regained consciousness for a moment.
But the intense pain in his apparently broken arm left him breathless, and he walked away held by the paramedics.
I had no intention of accompanying them, so I left my in-laws' house as it was. Then a middle-aged man and woman rushed into my in-laws' house one by one.
What is going on here? My daughter called me and said she was trapped in your shower room. How come an ambulance came?
Apparently, they are the parents of the cheating woman. I wonder if she asked her parents for help on the phone. She left in the dressing room. I can't believe she lied about being locked in. John and Catherine are about to get into the ambulance, looking away.
John, where's my daughter? You're irresponsible, even for a fiancé.
John, what is the meaning of this? Who is this woman?
The cheating woman's parents looked at me and asked. I told the cheating woman's parents.
I am John's wife.
Huh? I thought you were single, John.
No, John is my husband, no.
The parents of the cheating partner panicked.
John, you were married, weren't you? You have a wife and you went out with our daughter?
The father of the unfaithful woman dragged John out of the ambulance and grabbed him.
Oh, it hurts.
John cried out as his broken arm seemed to be in considerable pain. The mother of the unfaithful woman is screaming, Catherine crowding her.
What does this mean? You told me you were going to introduce me to your son who is a lawyer. And I thought he would be a good match for my daughter. Your son was married.
Well, how can I say?
I left my in-laws' house. I would never come here again. Later I divorced John. I filed for alimony against John, Catherine, and the person with whom John had an affair. Catherine did not like the wife I was, so she introduced John to the daughter of her own acquaintance. At that time, she lied to them. John was married once but divorced. Since I could not claim alimony from Catherine for supporting John's cheating, I claimed alimony for the morally harassing remarks. I also demanded alimony from the woman with whom John was having an affair. The parents of the unfaithful woman claimed that their daughter had cheated on them, but when I gave them the audio data I had heard in the shower, they paid the fee in one lump sum. The unfaithful woman was told by John when she started dating him that he was not actually divorced yet. But she wanted to marry the lawyer, so she continued the affair. John and Catherine rebelled against my claim, but as soon as I asked for Bob's law firm, they turned blue and paid the alimony in one lump sum. Bob became very angry when he found out this fact, divorced Catherine, and insulated himself from John. Lost Catherine and insulated himself from John. John, originally relied on his father's connection for work, has gradually lost his job as a lawyer. And now John works part-time at the bar and lives in poverty, with Catherine had started working part-time as well. I reflected on how I should cultivate an eye for people and not be misled by the title of my marriage partner, and I continued to work hard at my job.